Hi, friends, and welcome to today's episode of Vibrate Higher. This is Joelle. I am coming to you today to talk about all things related to journaling. So, if you have heard any of my podcast episodes before, you guys know that journaling is a technique and a tool that I am always recommending. But I felt like it was time to really dive deep into all of the things that journaling can bring and the benefits. So I wanted to do that today. Also, I am excited about today because this is the first time that I'm actually recording my podcast episode also on YouTube, because I want to start releasing YouTube videos in alignment with my podcast episodes, because I want to connect with you guys. There are so many people that listen to my podcast and I don't have a feedback loop. So I don't know if you love it, if you hate it, how much you love it, is it helping you? I want comments. I want to know who you are. I want to meet my tribe. I want to build you, make you grow. So I felt like it's time for me to just not be a faceless voice on the other end of your phone or your car radio or your laptop or however you listen to the podcast. I want you to actually be able to look into my eyes and see me and understand the passion that I have about anything that I'm bringing to you and the energy behind it. So let's talk about journaling. Tell me if this is you. Are you a person who maybe you haven't really had therapy before? Maybe you just can't afford therapy. Maybe that's just not your vibe, but you still have issues and things that come up that you are looking for answers and you need help working through them. And maybe your friends or your family, your mom and them, whoever it is you talk to, they really aren't giving you what you need. Maybe they're not versed in whatever the issue is. Maybe you're not comfortable talking to them. So you kind of run around in this like hamster wheel in your head where you're going through something, you're trying to think it through, you're getting advice. Maybe it's not the best advice, you don't really feel right about it, and you're just kind of feeling stuck. Like, I'm so tired of like not being able to figure my own stuff out, and I can't afford a therapist, or I don't want to. If that sounds like you, let me tell you about journaling and how it can absolutely be your therapist, guys. It really can. Journaling is such a powerful tool, and I feel like it gets a bad rap sometimes, because I think that sometimes it can be associated with just like, well, I don't want to sit down and write. Like, I don't have the patience, I don't have the time. But we are in 2024. There are so many different ways that we can like digitally get stuff written out and on paper now, that saying that you don't have time is not really a valid excuse anymore. And how can you not make time to work through an issue that's really bothering you? Like, you have to have time for that, because I bet you spend time thinking about it over and over and over again, because we already know that as humans, we think up to 70,000 thoughts a day, between 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day, and 90% of those are repetitive. So that means and 80% of those are negative. So that means when you have problems, you're probably running over that over and over and over and over in your head. So if you have time to do that and to dwell on it with no resolution, then you absolutely have time to journal, even if it is just a few minutes a day. This is a quick way to help tap into your power and work through some things on your own. It's your own safe space. So I really felt like it was important to break that down today. And of course, I want to bring you my thoughts about it, my tips, my techniques, all the things to help you lean into your own power. Not saying that you don't need a therapist. If you can afford a coach and you can afford a therapist, by all means, go for it. But even if you can, and even if you do go for it, journaling is still such an amazing tool and it doesn't cost a thing. So if you are working with a coach or a therapist, use journaling as an enhancement. And if they're really worth their salt, they're probably urging you to write some stuff down and journal anyway. So let's kind of dive into journaling holistically from top to bottom. So let's talk about what journaling is. It is really truly just writing down your thoughts and how you feel on a consistent basis. That is basically what journaling is. Journaling is really good if you are trying to really become more self-aware. If you are watching this video, you are on a quest to self-development. You are trying to become more self-aware. You want to learn more about yourself. You want to tap into your power. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here with me today watching this video. So if that is you, journaling is absolutely a good step. I want you to lean into all of the things that I explained today and really actually do it. So self-expression is what journaling can offer you. Self-awareness, it can help you fine-tune your self-awareness and get to know yourself. And it's also a safe space. Like I said earlier, this is a space for you to connect with your innermost thoughts, the stuff that you really don't want to tell anybody, or the stuff that you haven't even really given yourself time to think about. But when you sit down and deliberately create space to do it, you'd be surprised the stuff that you will uncover. Now, in terms of how to start journaling, there aren't really a lot of rules on how. I mean, there's no right way to do it. It's really what's comfortable for you. A few things that I do want to share though is there are a few different types of journals. So a lot of times you hear people talk about gratitude journals. So that means you have a journal and you're only really writing in it about things that you are grateful for, which is completely okay. I know a lot of people that use their journals for that. And so when they are in those times of like feeling low, maybe on a lower vibration, they can open that gratitude journal and read all of the things that they are grateful for, and it can remind them when they're feeling low of all of the things that they have appreciated in their life and the things that are around them, which is a beautiful process. So there are gratitude journals. There are journals about dreams. I used to do that. I was a big, I still am. I will write down if I remember a dream, I will write it down if it's disturbing, because I want to be able to understand what is my subconscious trying to tell me? What is deep down in my subconscious that I need to work through because I had a disturbing dream. So a few weeks ago, I had a random dream about a bat. It was just really weird. And this bat was on the ceiling, and it was looking down at me, and it was all kind of stuff. And I woke up whoa. I pulled out my journal, and immediately, as soon as I had that time in the morning, I'm I gotta get this out before I forget it. So I just put out my journal, dated it, and started writing everything I could remember about the dream. And I'm I'll get back to it. I just need to get it out in my journal. And that's what I did. And I went back and decoded it, maybe later on that day, but I needed to get it out. So some people just keep dream journals in general. That's all they do is write down their dreams, because truly your dream state is where your subconscious mind is awake and your conscious mind is asleep. And so a lot of times that's where issues are worked out. Maybe that's something that is really stuck deep down that you don't even realize is bothering you, that is coming out now that your subconscious mind is kind of ruling the roost because everything else is asleep. So people keep journals for dreams. People keep journals for gratitude. People keep journals for goals. A lot of you who set goals want to write them down and keep, record of this is my goal. A lot of times it's New Year's resolutions, beginning of the year, you're writing down your goal and you're looking at it on a daily or weekly or a monthly basis to see how you're tracking to it, and you're writing things down. People keep journals for that too. And some people like me keep journals forever. It's just a general. My journal is a general journal. I write, like I just said, I write my dreams in there. I've got goals, affirmations. I write journal entries of things that like I'm mulling through in my mind that I kind of want help with internally. I want to work out with myself. So you can just have a general journal that you can do all of those things in one book. So just in a few options on like how to journal. So remember, there are no rules, guys. You can keep whatever type of journal you want, and it could be all encompassing, and that's okay too. So I want to give you 4 benefits of journaling, and I want to just touch on each of them as we go. There are so many benefits to journaling. I'm just giving you the top 4 for me, according to me. This is just my experience. So the first benefit of journaling is it reduces your stress and anxiety. Now, there are so many of us that deal with stress and anxiety. Actually, everybody pretty much deals with stress or anxiety in some way, shape, or form throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month. It happens. We're humans. It's part of the game. Now, letting that stress and anxiety take you out is different, but we all deal with them. The key when you're really going into this self-development lane is understanding your stress and anxiety and being able to look at it from a place of curiosity. Like, what am I anxious about? Okay, I'm stressed about X. Let me why? Let me write that down. When you are able to create a habit where you can create space and look at your stressors and look at the things that make you anxious from a place of curiosity, you learn so much more about yourself. You are able to release those pent up emotions, because most of the time when you're stressed and anxious, your body is in survival mode. So you're tense, you've got all these emotions running, and being able to sit down for just a few minutes and type or write out how you feel and why is going to help you release that. Because truly, if you are stressed about X, you are not going to be able to make really good decisions and problem solve for X if you're in a stressed state. That's just not how energy works. So the real pro tip is when you're in those moments, is to create the space, breathe it out, get your nervous system regulated, then you attack the issue. So the benefit of journaling is that it is such a quick way to be able to quickly take out your phone and write some notes, like get yourself regulated and self-soothe yourself back down. So journaling releases stress and anxiety. The second benefit, problem solving. This is what I use my journal for the most. Like I told you in the beginning, if you are someone who you're working through a problem or there's an issue, anything that comes up, and you just can't afford a therapist or a coach, I often tell my clients and anyone who will listen that journaling is like a free therapy session. And let's talk about why. I think it's important to understand first that you have I call them the 3 selves. Some people call them the 3 minds, but you have a conscious mind, a subconscious mind, and a superconscious mind. Now, if you want a crash course in the 3 selves, I have a YouTube video or a podcast episode on that. And it's actually, I feel like it's like a 15-minute one. So it's really quick. If this is something that is new to you and you want more details on what that is, check out my video or the podcast episode, and that'll kind of give you it'll create a through line for you so that you can really understand it. But I'll give you a really quick high level overview. So your conscious mind, that is the mind that's talking, that's, engaging every day. That's 5% of who we are. The subconscious mind, beneath the surface, why it's called subconscious, is 95% of who we are. It runs all of your involuntary actions and movements. So your heart beating, blinking, breathing, your subconscious mind runs all of that. And it also is like a supercomputer. It stores every single memory that you have ever had is in your subconscious. And so its role is to make sure that you survive. And when you are stressed or anxious, it's going to go into the memory bank and say, oh, like, we're in danger. Remember this happened last time you felt like this, that happened. You don't want to do that. So it's kind of like that inner voice, really not there to hurt you, it thinks that it's helping you. But if you have not reprogrammed it with different beliefs than what you had when you were growing up, sometimes it's trying to keep you safe by keeping you stuck. So your subconscious mind is so important, and a lot of people don't understand what it is, and that's important in journaling, because when you are sitting there and you're writing, you have your conscious mind that's dialed into that, and your subconscious mind that's dialed into that, and you have your superconscious mind, which is like your soul, basically. It is your connection to the higher consciousness. So God, source, universal intelligence, whatever label works for you. But your higher conscious or your super conscious mind is that direct connection there. And we all have that. So the reason why I say that journaling is like a free therapy session is because when you're sitting down to mind through a problem or write down something that you're feeling a way about and you want to kind of really tap within, you have those three minds focused on that. And so when you can really be present in journaling and you can let yourself write how you're feeling without judgment, you are able to tap into your subconscious mind, who's going to tell you things from the past and why you feel this way. When you start writing and articulating thoughts and asking questions, your subconscious mind is going to give you the answer. It's going to pull up stuff you didn't even remember, but you've given it the time. You're asking the questions. And then your higher self, who is that connection to universal intelligence, God, to source, it knows, it's your soul. It knows what your purpose is, what your path is, where you want to go, the best way to get there. So as you're writing and articulating what the issue is, your subconscious mind is helping you remember why you feel that way. And then your higher conscious or your super conscious mind is giving you answers of how can we fix it, because it knows where you want to go. It knows how you truly feel about it. It's so non-judgmental. It's so omniscient. It knows everything. It is going to give you ideas, direction, etc. So I swear by it because it's my free therapy session. And the thing is, it's probably not going to feel that way the first time. But if you make that a consistent habit, you would be surprised of how much information you get, how many ideas you get from just journaling about issues or things that are like bugging the heck out of you. So we've got we got reducing stress and anxiety. We have problem solving. The third benefit of journaling is better communication skills. So when you are actually deliberately taking the time to think things and articulate thoughts, like I just said, you're improving your communication skills. I know it doesn't seem like it because it's all internal, but you are truly exercising those communication muscles because you're talking, even if you're talking to yourself, you're still talking like you're having to connect, like, I feel this way. Why? Okay, because of this. Well, what about that? Like you are improving those muscles of communication, and that is going to help you across all lanes of your life. Fourth benefit, and one of my favorites, is it sharpens your intuition. Journaling sharpens your intuition. Why? Just like I just talked about, it's because you are tapping into and you are deliberately connecting with your higher self or your super conscious mind. So that is where your intuition lives. That's a soul thing. And so your intuition comes from your soul. I have a podcast episode about that as well. It's not a YouTube video, but there is a podcast episode on intuition. And basically what I'm explaining is your intuition is different from an instinct. That's not the same. When you are deliberately connecting consistently with your higher self, your intuition is sharpened because you understand what that part of you feels like when it communicates. And it feels different for everyone. But what I can tell you that's consistent about when you're communicating with your superconscious or your soul is it is very non-judgmental, very light. Like it's not pushing something on you like, do this now. It's very like, you should do that. Here's the answer. It's very quick, direct, and light. But you have to figure out, those are my words. You have to figure out how that feels to you. And when you journal more consistently, you're sharpening your intuition because that connection to your superconscious is something that you're doing. It's a habit. And so now when you're out in the wild of life and you aren't journaling, you still can then understand like, oh, that's my intuition telling me that, not my instinct, not my conscious mind talking to me, or not my subconscious mind giving me some old memory because I need to uproot a belief because I've got abandonment issues and it's telling me like, don't talk to that person, they're gonna leave you. I'm actually getting a hit from my intuition, and I get what that feels like because I am in tune with it daily when I journal, monthly, however that comes up. So those are the 4 main benefits of journalism according to me. So it is reducing your stress and anxiety because you're releasing pent-up emotions. It is problem solving because it's a free therapy session. You're working with your 3 selves. It is better communication skills because you're having to articulate things and complicated things that are close to you that you're sensitive about. That's going to help you communicate better in your relationships, in your family, your familial circles, your friendships, your career. And it sharpens your intuition, which again, if you're here on this channel watching my podcast, you want to sharpen your intuition. That is a part that lights you up inside. And I'm telling you right now, journaling is a great way to do that. So before I let you go, I want to talk about how on earth do you get started doing this wonderful world of journaling. So I want to give you, I think I have like 5 how to get started tips that I want to share with you that have worked for me and other people that I talk with that we're kind of like journaling nerds. So first one, when you sit down to journal, you want to set an intention. So what I mean by that is you want to determine ahead of time, like what I'm trying to accomplish. So if it's setting a goal, like we talked about, maybe you have a goal journal. When you open that journal that day, you're like, okay, I want to write out my goals for this new position that I just got. That is my intention. And I want to walk away with actionable, achievable goals that feel good to me. That's my intention. But you want to set that ahead of time. And the reason why is because your 3 selves are all engaged in what you are about to do. And so you want to set the intention so that everyone inside you knows this is what we're doing. Second one, choose a journal. Now, in 2024, like I told you earlier, there are a plethora of ways that you can journal. Not everybody likes to write with pen and paper. I get that. So use your phone. There are notes. Apple has notes if you're an Apple person. I'm sure that Android has the same thing. I know people that have journals on their phone. They just literally write notes. Like they'll date it like today, going through this. They write a journal entry. You can do that when you're sitting in the waiting room at the doctor's office, when you're, scrolling through your phone, wherever you are. You can do it digitally. If you are a person that likes pen and paper, like me, choose your journal and make sure it's something that fits your personality. Like, make sure it's cute. It's something, maybe it's got messages or flowers all over it or, whatever. suits your fancy. But choose a journal that when you pick it up, you're like, yeah, like it makes you excited that you're gonna write in it. So that's tip number 2. Tip number 3, determine how often, like what frequency are you going to journal? You want to be deliberate about this. My recommendation, if you're just starting out, is to do it daily. Just carve out time. And it doesn't have to be 2 hours. It could just be a few minutes. You could just be jotting down something quick, but you want to like get yourself into the habit of making time to do it. Try to do it every day. And once you kind of get into the cadence of it, then determine like, I probably really only need to do that 3 times a week, or just on the Friday and Saturday and Sunday mornings, or whatever your schedule permits. But choose a frequency and stick to it. The 4th one is start small. And by that I mean like your journal entry. Like I just said, it could just be like, maybe you are feeling weird. You know how sometimes you just have one of those days and you're like, I don't know, like something's bothering me. Like I can't really put my finger on it, but like something's off. Like I don't feel like myself. Like I'm kind of like annoyed. Maybe I'm frustrated. I don't know. That's the perfect time. Just pull out your journal or on your phone notes, whatever it is, and just write like feeling frustrated. Like engage your 3 selves. Like I'm frustrated. I'm annoyed. Let me think. Why? Because I was late to work. Okay. Like jot those things down. But feeling frustrated, annoyed, late to work, and your mind, you will notice like your subconscious mind's going to kick in. It's going to start giving you the answers because it remembers the stuff that you don't. So you'll find that you'll start asking yourself stuff, and then it'll be like late to work. Wait, I got in a fight with my boyfriend this morning. Crap, I forgot all about that. Like he really annoyed me this morning, and I've been annoyed ever since. So that's why I'm still annoyed. Like maybe the fight was small enough to where you really didn't think about it, but now that you've actually taken the time to journal it, you're like, oh yeah, that's what pissed me off. Okay, I can work through that. Because really, I was kind of like, maybe I took that a little too personal, or let me text him. Then we can move on. So start small. Don't feel like you have to write a book the first time you sit down and journal. And then my last tip is be mindful. And what I mean by that is be mindful of the emotions that you are feeling as you're writing, and always know that you have created a safe space. This is your private thoughts, your innermost feelings, and don't judge yourself. Look at it from a space of curiosity, not judgment. Always ask yourself why. Why am I feeling this way? Why do I feel? What is it that I feel? Because you're asking yourself, you're asking your subconscious mind, who knows everything. Remember, it controls how tense your body is when you're feeling this way. It controls the tightness in your chest. So you want to ask why. That creates space. You'll find that when you ask yourself why, you probably will start feeling a little bit better, like physically, like if it's tightness of chest, or like maybe you're tense. And then the subconscious mind will answer you. Oh, because I got in a fight this morning with my boyfriend. That's why. So those are my 5 tips of like how to get started. Let's roll through those really quick again. Set an intention, choose a journal, determine the frequency that you want to write in it, you want to use it, and start with a small entry. And then the 5th one is be mindful. So that is all I have today, guys. I hope that you are vibrating higher now than you were before you came. If you are watching this on YouTube, please give me some comments. I really want to know if these topics and how I'm delivering this information is actually helping you. Tell me what you took away from this. If you're listening on the podcast, make sure you write a review. Give me some stars so I can know if this is landing. Please make sure that you forward this to anyone that you feel like can benefit from this. And if you are new to Zenergy and new to the channel, welcome. I hope to see you back again. And make sure that you follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Zenergy Group, Zenergy at Zenergy Group. And I will talk to you all soon.